marketing department here at Art Storefronts going on, I don't know, I think 6 years and change now. And I bring that up to say, been working really hard on this problem that is how do you grow an art or photography business with marketing in modern times, with a modern business model and understanding all that that portends. In addition to that, I've been running 3 of these a week for a little bit over a year, as well as running ones internally with our customers. I don't believe that there's a human being on the planet currently that talks to more artists and photographers on a week in, week out basis. Heard it all, seen it all over the last year. And then as a final, we've got data on a little bit over 5,500 customers now, and we study it quite intently. Um, who's capturing the most emails, who's doing the best job on Instagram, who's doing the best job on Facebook, who's selling the most prints, who's selling the most originals, who's selling the most commissions, who's selling the most courses. Um, all of these various different things that we study in depth on our customers, and especially on our customers, the ones that are doing the best. And you combine all three of those things together, and I believe whether this is the first time you've ever been on one of these calls, you've known about us for a while, you're planning on joining up, you have no desire to join up, don't care about any of that. Love to talk to you, love to get into the Q&A on the backside of this thing, and I believe that I can help you. I believe this session can be valuable. My number one goal is that it's valuable, that you leave today with some more insight and some action steps on what you need to do to help grow your photography, your art business in 2021 and in the years to come. So the Q&A part is the best. Now, what is normally the case on these things is some people have some sort of an idea of what we do. Others like, I have no idea what you do. So there's a video that we recorded, a couple of weeks ago on one of these sessions that I think does a pretty good job of sort of explaining at a high level who we are, what we do. And so I'm going to go ahead and play that. While that's running, you'll notice that there is a chat button at the bottom of your Zoom window. It'll messages pop into this thing, and assuming you've got questions, then throw them in the chat. We'll answer them. My team will answer them as we go along. If it's an in-depth question that you have, I might save it until the video's over and then answer it live, and then bring you into the call too, so we can talk about things. But yeah, love to hear from you guys about what you are, where you are in your career. What are you struggling with? Are you just getting started? You don't know where to get started? Are you having a battle with niche selection? Are you wondering what the best-selling sizes are? Do you have questions about marketing on Facebook and Instagram, or SEO, or pricing, or how to navigate a gallery relationship, or anything in between? I believe I can help you. I believe we'll have some great advice for you. So look forward to getting into all of that as the session rolls along. And go ahead and start the video, April, and I will see you guys just on the other side. This is the homepage I'm talking about that we just recently redid, and I think it does a really good job articulating sort of who we are, what we do at a very high level. And if you scroll down the page, there's a bunch of videos and me explaining a whole bunch of things, everything that we do from top to bottom. But our tagline, which states everything that you need to start, run, and grow a successful art business, really does sum up what we do. We get pigeonholed as they're a website company. They're a website company. And yes, we do offer websites, but it is a tiny, tiny portion of what we do. Ultimately, we learned a couple of years ago, the hard way, by the way, if we are going to grow and be successful as a business, Art Storefronts, that is 100% dependent, surprise this one, but on how successful our customers are, on how much art and photography our customers are selling on a yearly basis. And so when you look at that as the problem that we're solving, it becomes so much more than a website, because a website is not enough. But still, we're going to talk about the website. I'm going to get into the other layers as we go down. So it does indeed all start with the website. I will pull one up because it'll make it more interactive. And, anyone that's been attempting to sell art or photography for any period of time, I'll use Bono today, they know one thing conclusively: selling art in an e-commerce capacity digitally online is not like selling other items. It's not like selling swim fins or ladies' handbags or electric scooters or bicycles or anything else, right? Buying art, okay, and buying art online is an extremely visual process, and B, an extremely friction-filled process. And what do I mean by friction? I mean, friction is all of the various different things, okay, that will prevent a visitor to your website from turning into a buyer. Okay. And so, really, everything that we do with our software is attempt to solve for this friction. Okay. To solve for the friction, to solve for how important the visual aspects are towards selling art and photography online. And, it's never any one feature, it's all of the features working together. It can be little things like when you select a media type, which is canvas, it changes to a canvas, a gallery wrapped canvas. Most people don't even know what a canvas is. And so we've developed special videos that show the differences, the nuances in the real world, what an actual canvas print looks like, what's going to show up at their house, what are the high points of this one, is canvas different than metal. Oops, I missed a click on that. And so you can see what a metal print looks like and how it's sitting flat, eventually how it's hanging up, all the nuances, the intricacies, because it is such a visual process buying art. We have a feature called the wall preview, which allows you to cycle through various different room types. Again, such a visual process buying art. Not only can you circle through the different room types, and yes, you can add your own room type images in. We use some generic ones by design, and you can size pieces up and down, see what it's going to look like. Do I need a 36 by 49? Is that too big? Do I instead want a 28 by 38? We're making it easier for your potential customer to get to a buying decision. What if they want to, their walls aren't white, right? What if they're this ugly color? Or there's something a little bit darker? Is the piece going to look good with this color, right? Because again, buying art is just such an incredibly visual process. Another feature that everybody likes to talk about that we get a lot of plaudits for is
Here we
we
are
have this
on
feature,
artist and art.
excuse me, mute that, called live preview with AR. Okay. And what this is this allows somebody to come to your website with their telephone, can be iPhone or Android. You can see the phones here on the right hand side. And without downloading any apps, they can just use their phone, their camera, and press one button on your website that says live preview. And what this is going to do, it's going to take the camera on their phone, okay, which is going to show the real room, the real wall, where the art will potentially go. And then it takes your piece in augmented reality and it projects it onto the wall. And you're able to move it around with your finger. You're able to size it up, size it down, take screenshots. And so, is it going to look great in the room? What size do I need to get, right? And so, again, this is attempting to solve for the visual friction of, I don't know if it's going to work in my room. I don't know what it's going to look like, right? It's just getting them one step closer to a buying decision, removing the friction from the process. And, you know, I've been doing e-commerce marketing, digital marketing my entire life. Everyone loves to gravitate towards the wall preview or the live preview with AR. But the reality is when you do this for any period of time, it's not about one individual feature. It's about all the features working in conjunction. And you never know which one's going to end up, if we think of a sports analogy like a basketball team, it's how many players you have on the court that can contribute, right, to eventually scoring that basket. And so it's why we do the demo process. We have literally hundreds and hundreds of features, all to remove the friction, all to help you get better at selling art and photography online. And when you request one of these things, our outreach team will reach out, have a conversation with you, and schedule it. It goes like an hour and 10 minutes, and we just go through feature after feature after feature. So it's not about any one of them; it's about all of them working in conjunction. Independent of that, let's keep working down the page. So we also have a ton of backend software. It turns out running an art business, art photography business, there's a ton of individual little nuance and things that can slow you down. Okay, things like uploading an image and how many images do you have to upload to your web page for all the various different media sizes and types you have. It's very helpful to be able to just upload one, have all the sizes auto-populate for you, and tell you exactly what you can sell. Things like markups. How do you set markups? Can you do it globally? Can you do it per media type, right? And so no one likes to talk about the back end features, but we have a slew of those as well, all there to make your life easier, to give you time back. Okay. Um, let's talk about our fulfillment. And we love talking about this. This is in our company DNA pretty significantly, but I'll pull up a website. So we're on Bill Stidham's site. Or I should probably start here actually. So we are integrated. Well, let me start here. You can have it any which way you like. If you're an artist that just does originals and you get orders, obviously you're going to be responsible for fulfilling the originals because you have them. If you're an artist that has a local printer or a photographer that has a local printer, you really like using your printer, you can use your printer. The orders come in, you send the order to your printer. We call that self fulfillment, no problem. What we recommend our customers do, though, is integrate with one of our print partners, and I'll get into the reasons why. But we've got Graphic Dimensions on the East Coast. We've got Bay Photo on the West Coast. We've got Print Partner for our customers in Canada. And then we just recently integrated with a company called Guten that handles the merchandise. And I'll get into that in a second. Um, how does it work? You sign up, you get your site set up, which usually takes 14 days or less. You click a button that says, I want to integrate with this print partner. An order comes into the website. The printer gets paid, you get paid, the order gets printed, the order gets boxed, your logo goes on the side of the box, boom, it ships to the customer. You touch absolutely nothing. There's nothing you have to touch, nothing you have to do. All happens automatically. And again, it's to give you back that amount of time. And you know, no one has time in today's day and age to be dealing with the admin. Okay. Any time that you spend on the admin, by which I mean sending the order to your local printer, uh, uh, checking on the proof, sending tracking numbers, did it ship, any of that correspondence, all of that, if you're spending your time on that, is time you are not spending on your biggest problem, which is your marketing. So we really believe like streamlining sort of this drop shipping, print on demand, automated fulfillment is a very, very wise decision if you want to create successful artists and photographers. Now, just recently, this was probably what, like a month before Christmas, maybe, we integrated with a company called Guten. And what it allows our customers to do is sell merchandise of a myriad of different kinds. Hoodies, iPhone cases, tank tops. They can come in, adjust the image exactly how they want to see it. Maybe they want to tilt it depending on what case it is, and get iPhone cases and a number of different other items. We've got throw pillows and I clicked out of it, and coffee mugs, and we're adding more and more and more and more of these. And on the subject of merch, we realize again, if you go back to our original mission, why we exist, we need to create a set of circumstances, a set of conditions such that the artist, the photographer can make and grow as successful a business as they want. And so some artists look at this merch and they're like, they turn their noses up at it and like, that's not fine art. Why would I ever want to do that? Some are like, I'm all in, I love it. We don't care. Our job is to provide as many different opportunities for artists and photographers to be successful as possible. And we've been totally blown away by how much of this stuff actually, believe it or not, sells. And some of it is higher margin than you would think. Like a throw pillow is $44, and what does a tote bag cost? I think a tote bag costs $38. So sell it or not, you have every opportunity imaginable available to you. If you want to have it all, in kind of like Bill does here on his site, where you have your fine art media types across the top, and then you have the merch all in one product page. Great. If you want to have individual items in the store, you want to have your artwork, fine, and then you just want to have a line of phone cases. If you want to have one for a couple of weeks and then turn it off, you can do any and all of that, and it's one click to turn it on at any point in time. It's automated. It's completely automated in terms of fulfillment, and that's not going to change. And we realize again, like artists and photographers are essentially just creators, right? You're just creators, and you have a talent. You have a talent with a brush, or you have a talent with the lens. You want to monetize that talent. Okay. So again, our job is to give you as many different opportunities to be able to monetize that talent as possible. So that's how we go about it. And again, it's a debate about when to use it or when not. But somebody on one of these sessions earlier was like, who's the greatest rock band of all time? I was like, no, who? He's like, the Rolling Stones. He goes, guess what the Rolling Stones have at their concerts? I said, what? A giant booth for merch. He's like, they sell hundreds of thousands of dollars of it a year. If the Stones sell it, I'll sell it. So anyway, I thought that kind of stuck with me. It was fun. So that's our print fulfillment. And I should say too that we're adding calendars and we're adding puzzles and we are adding photo books. And to be honest with you, if they come out with a line of hot air balloons, we'll add hot air balloons too, right? Because again, it's creating a set of circumstances such that the artist and photographer can be successful. We don't care where the success comes from. I don't care if Brian gets into business and he's the number one iPhone selling case guy of the entire United States. He's got a successful business, right? So not for us to decide. Support. We believe we have best in class support. If you took a look at our Facebook ads and you scrolled through the 350 of them, you'll see more positive responses for the support than just about anything else. We're very, very good at this. Yes, it's in all the venues you think it is: email, phone, chat support. But in addition to that, kind of what I'm most proud about is we run 6 days a week, including Saturdays, Zoom sessions, just like the one you're on right now. Okay. And you can pop into one at any point in time with any support related issue and get fixed, get unstuck. There's screen shares. They can take over control of your computer and just get you sorted instantaneously. So we're very, very good at it. Not only do we support our application, We ask you guys, we teach you guys marketing all year long, and which I'll get into in a second. What if you're having a problem with Facebook or with Instagram or with MailChimp or with your Facebook ads? We actually support that too. You can pop into a Zoom session and say, hey, Patrick, I'm stuck on my Facebook ads. I'm getting this message. Can you help me? And our team will get you unstuck. That's an amazing thing. There's not many companies that do that. So I'm very, very proud about that. That's in terms of the overall website picture. And we essentially do all of that, okay, to give you your time back such that you can work on the biggest problem that every single solitary person on this Zoom call has, which is their marketing problem. You need to get better at it. And let me tell you, I've got 4,700 customers, and there's only one universal truth about every one of them, right? Every niche imaginable, every subject matter, all over this country and others. Every one of them has a marketing problem. The person that just passed $500,000 a year in sales has a marketing problem. They want to grow that business, they have a marketing problem. The person that just is getting started, sold their first piece, they have a marketing problem, and everybody in between, right? It is the biggest problem. And so, we want to create successful customers. We realize we need to teach artists and photographers how to market. And so how did we solve for that particular problem? We created collectively what might as well be called the Art Business University. That's how we look at it, because I'm not sure there's a better term to explain it. One, we have the best digital education that exists in terms of selling art and photography online, full stop. I'm hang my hat on this. We have detailed documentation that we call Playbooks on every marketing facet imaginable. How to run an email campaign, how to run a Black Friday sale, how to go live on Instagram, how to go live on Instagram and Facebook at the same time, how to go live on Instagram and Facebook at the same time with your laptop on a cell phone. Detailed, step-by-step, audio, video, screenshot documentation. If we're asking you to send emails, we will give you the email copy. You just adjust it to taste for what you're doing. So the playbooks are incredible. They're very robust, and they're very focused on teaching you how to market. We pair that with a 365-day-a-year marketing calendar, okay? It has on it beginner, intermediate, and advanced. You take on what you can take on. You're never not knowing what you need to be doing on a week in, week out basis. You start doing, first, you're overwhelmed. You're like, I've never done this. This is crazy. How am I going to survive? And then you fight through it, and you got through the beginner level, and then you take on the intermediate, and then you take on the advanced. The majority of our customers follow this doggone near verbatim year in, year out, because it works. It's effective. Not only does it tell you what to do, but it solves for one of the other greatest pandemic of our lifetime, the shiny object syndrome, okay? Not only does the calendar tell you what to do, it tells you what not to do, okay? What not to be spending your time on, right? And how do I know this? One, I'm very good at digital marketing. Two, we have 4,700 customers, and I get to see all of their data. I can tell everyone on this call conclusively, out of the 4,700 customers that I have not seen anyone turn a positive ROI out of marketing on Pinterest. No one is making any money from marketing on Pinterest. So I'm going to tell you, you don't have to worry about Pinterest. I see you laughing, Mary. I do not want you spending any time on Pinterest, period. Waste of time. So too with SEO, okay? So the calendar is equally powerful on what you need to focus on is what you ignore, okay? Is what you ignore, and that's a big deal. Number 3 of the Art Business University is what we call office hours, okay? We take the entire customer base, we split it into 3. Until you sell $2,000 directly on your website, you're in the traction group. And after you sold $2,000 on your website, you're in the ramping group. After you sold a much higher revenue threshold that we don't publish, you get in the advanced group, which we call growth. We hold week in, week out, every single solitary week. And we took 1 week off for New Year's, but essentially 48, 49 weeks a year. Zoom calls like this. You come on a weekly basis. It's either me or members of my team. We go over the playbooks. We go over the calendars. We talk about wins. Somebody landed an interior decorator and sold $35,000 worth. They're going to come on and tell their story. Not only are they going to come on and tell their story, they're going to say, here's the email that did it. Here's the copy. Here's the Facebook post. And you can go and look at that stuff, right? And you're learning in concert with your peers. Digital online education is not enough. Okay. If you look at the stats out there, I don't care who it is, Kajabi or Masterclass or lynda.com, 30% of the people that buy those courses actually finish them. So we can't just have digital education. We have to have in-person teaching sessions, and everyone knows how to Zoom now. It's our new reality. So those sessions, which we started like, I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks ahead of the pandemic, have been the single solitary biggest fundamental change to our business we've ever had. If before the pandemic, I had 100 customers,
And I told those 100 customers via email, guys, Black Friday's coming. You got to get going on your sale. Here's the playbook, right? And then I recorded a podcast episode and I was like, we're going to do this. 35 out of the 100 would take action. After these video sessions where I'm able to go through things, people are able to ask their questions, raise their hands, get unstuck, learn your peers. I have 75 people taking action on that sale. And it's fundamentally changing the business. It is making our customers more successful, more accountable, actually staying focused. Like, look, you guys are all solopreneurs for the most part. I mean, we could pull this entire group, and not a lot of you guys have a big team. You don't have an office behind you where you're yelling at an intern to help you out. You are a solopreneur, okay? Myself, the CEO, we've been entrepreneurs our entire life. I know it's a roller coaster. I know there's highs and the lows. When you're on those lows, you need a kick in the pants, right? You need to be lifted up sometimes. And that's what these Zoom sessions do too, which is incredible. We follow it up with a Facebook group that is highly curated. Okay. There's no trolls. There's no nonsense in there, right? You've seen some of the other groups out there online and how ridiculous it gets in those things. And artists are sharing with other artists, photographers are sharing with other photographers, the people that are in the landscape niche are talking to others in the landscape niche. Hey guys, what do you think of this new direction? What did you use in terms of pricing? They're publishing their wins. And so sometimes you can't just hear it from us, the official company mouthpiece. And so it's nice to have a whole bunch of people that are doing the same journey at the same time, helping each other out, sharing, what are you doing here? What are you doing there? So that collectively is the Art Business University. And it's like a college. It really is. And the difference is you pay your tuition, you come in, and there's no graduates because the learning never stops, right? And in addition to that, it never will stop. In today's digital marketing landscape, the goalposts are just constantly moving, right? Like so quickly, you feel like you just learned something and it moves over here. So we keep you up to date with all of that. As a final, about 6 months ago, or maybe 5 months ago now, we started an in-house marketing agency. And it's an in-house marketing agency that only does one thing. It helps artists and photographers sell more art online and off. And we believe already, as of current today's date, it's the biggest sole-focused art and photography marketing agency in the world. And that's not hyperbole. I've been asking on these calls, can someone name me an agency that specializes only in helping artists and photographers sell their work? I haven't found one. No one's ever put one in the chat for me, especially not a big one. Why? Because my aforementioned point, selling art and photography is not like selling swim thins or ladies' handbags or scooters. It's hard, right? It's really hard. And we're good at it because we've been working at it for a long time. Also, I get upset, right? Because I look at all of you guys as like, you own a McDonald's, right? And if you owned a McDonald's, you have to know how to do the ordering. You have to know how to clean the floors. You have to know how to open the building. You have to know how to operate the drive-through window. You have to be able to flip burgers and fries and do all of that and do the ordering, right? Like it's your business. You need to understand those things. But at the same time, I'm not naive in the sense that 80% of our customers still have full-time jobs or in some capacity. Maybe they're service-based photographers and they're trying to sell their fine art. So I get it. You need to be able to have the ability. If you don't have the time to do the marketing and you have the resources, you need a la carte things that you can jump off the shelf. Hey guys, I need my Instagram profile tuned up. I need my Facebook page tuned up. I need to help with a sales campaign. You need to be able to do that sometimes. In addition to things like we'll completely build your website for you. You don't want to do that. You hate building websites. Your fears in life, in order, are death, taxes, and building another website. I get that. I get that, right? So you can drop your images in a folder, tell us to build the site, we'll build the site for you, okay? We'll manage your Facebook ads, okay? We will manage all of your social posting. And again, it goes back to the top premise. Like our job is to create successful customers. And so we looked at it 6 months ago and it's like, we need to have an agency. And then some people are like, well, I want to do it myself. Fantastic. Our job is to have the best DIY product, do it yourself, learn, come on the sessions, and then also have an agency where you can pay. And again, it's a la carte or it's, almost full service. And the amazing thing about it is, I've been doing marketing a long time, right? What do all marketers love? A case study. Oh, we love a case study, right? With the sexy data about this huge win, and we publish it on social media and we use it for lead generation. So totally did that all the time. Okay, guilty. And if you lose, you don't publish it, right? You wait till you hit a winner and do all that. But it used to be, I would go and run a case study with a customer, and I'd have limited bandwidth to do that, and then we would build the playbooks. Well, guess what I have now? I've got agency staff. I've got one guy that all he does all day long is spruce up Instagram pages for artists and photographers. He did 65 of them last week, or probably 65 last month. So imagine the learnings that we're getting. What happens is the learnings are going right back into the playbooks, and then they're coming onto the Zoom sessions and they're teaching, And we've got a little flywheel going on, right? We've got a little artist and photographer education flywheel. So it doesn't matter if you ever order a single solitary service from the agency. And we don't even care if the agency ever makes any money, in all honesty, because all it does is just improves the product, makes more successful customers, and helps us grow. So we really, at the end of the day, are fundamentally a business that can be thought of as a rowboat, right? It takes our oar, your oar. We jump in the boat in the same time, and if we can get that thing rowing in the same direction, the faster we can get that going, the better everybody does. So that's Art Storefronts in a nutshell. That's my presentation.
All right. Well, thank you guys. So that's sort of who we are, what we do at a high level. We'll go ahead now and just shift into opening things up for the Q&A, and a couple of ways to like look at that, approach that, think about that. One, if you're one of the brave ones, Tim, Monty, Penny, Rick, Mike, with your camera on, and you want to do the old school hand raise, we'll see that. We'll know you have a question. We'll be able to bring you on. If you look at the bottom of your Zoom window, there's a participants button. And if you click on that participants button, there's a way that you can digitally raise your hand. So that sort of lets us know that you're in the queue and you have a question. If you don't want to turn your camera on, you don't have to turn your camera on. I hate being on video. I totally understand that. If you prefer to just leave your question in the chat, you can do that. You can leave it in the chat. We'll see those, and then we'll be able to answer those in detail. If you're one of the folks that are watching on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, we see those comments. We can pull those comments in. We can address those comments. So we can get into those as well. In addition to me, we also have Reed on this call. Reed, why don't you introduce yourself? Reed is on our outreach team. He's worked at Art Storefronts for, 6 years, 7 years? I believe Reed has talked to more artists and photographers. I don't even want to contemplate the number. Thousands and thousands and thousands. And so, Reed, you might as well say hello as well.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. My name is Reed Ramirez. I'm on the onboarding team here. And yeah, I've been here 6 years. It was 6 years in March. So I don't know the number either. It's 10,000 plus. So I'm not an artist, but I am one with the artist at this point.
One with the artist. I love it. I love
absolutely.
it. I love it. Yeah, and so I'd love to hear what you guys have questions about. What do you have questions about? What it is that we Art Storefronts do? I can tell from the questions some of you guys still think we're a marketplace. I can get into that and explain that. Oftentimes there's questions about the marketing. Love getting into those, but love to hear just kind of where you guys are in your business. And yes, Monty sending me a message. I have her questions in the chat. Did I get the questions I sent earlier? Yes, I will. I'll answer yours, and I'll unmute you in just a second, Monty, so that everyone can learn from them. But yeah, we would just love to get into all of them. And fundamentally, that there was a lot going on in that video, but the one thing to take away from it is, I know conclusively every single solitary one of you, Tim, Monty, Penny, Rick, Mike, all the rest of you, all have the marketing problem. It's your biggest problem, right? You need more eyes on your art, on your photography to be able to sell it. Without that attention, without those eyeballs, you're not in the game. The best art doesn't get sold. The art that gets seen sold. And that's just a fundamental truth of the world that we live in right now. So love to talk about the marketing problems. You can't even have the website problem until you fix the marketing problem. So it's all those things. Okay, Mike, I'll start with you, and then Monty, we're going to get into yours. You'll be up next, but go ahead, Mike.
Hey. Thanks for the presentation and question. So this might be a loaded pack question, but
no worries.
Can you answer why SEO is ineffective, and if not SEO, then what? And that might be really loaded, dense part of the question.
No, it's a great question. I love it, dude. It's a great question. I love it. So the way that everything works in marketing is the minute something is discovered, it is the highest efficiency, highest yield, and then every minute the technique gets less and less effective. So when SEO came on the scene as many years back as it did, 15, 20 now, it could have been extremely effective. Now, granted, not a lot of art was being sold there, but such that you could not have to work that hard on your SEO. And we should probably break down SEO. SEO has two parts to it. The SEO everybody thinks is I magically put in keywords and a meta description, and Google magically sends me traffic, magically sends me buyers. Nothing could be further from the truth. just putting in the information on your web page does not guarantee you any organic traffic whatsoever, aside from your name. SEO is no different than any other marketing technique. You have to constantly and actively be going out there and building links directly back to your website such that you might rank high in the search engines, okay? That's number one. Number two, if I was to ask you, and unmute your mic because this is an important exercise. I'll have to get you to unmute again where I lost you. Or let's just see if you can still unmute. Can you? Yeah, sometimes Zoom is just buggy like this. I'll have to unmute you again. Okay, so just here's the thought exercise, okay? Explain to me in 3 keywords how I would find your art by going into a search engine. SEO is not worth it for you, dude. If you couldn't tell me in 2 seconds what I type into a search engine to get directed to you. And so that's the other part of it. It's like, if I looked at everybody on this call, and let's just say there's 100 to keep the math simple, maybe there is one person on this call where they stand a chance at making it with SEO. And I'll give you, for instance, we've got a guy in Pittsburgh who is a photographer, okay? And he takes photos of all the bridges in Pittsburgh and he colors them like the Steelers in Photoshop. He does extremely well. Crazy niche, right? But bridge photography, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, stands a chance, okay, at working on his SEO because that is such a unique niche search term. But in each one of these instances, you have to balance how much search volume is there. Are there thousands, hundreds of thousands of people searching that? Or are there 10 people a month searching that? Also, what's the competition look like? And that whole equation, it just does not provide the level of ROI for the artist or the photographer that would traditionally marketing in the ways that work, right? Capturing emails, emailing the emails, having sales, posting on Facebook and Instagram, doing all that consistently all year long. So the ROI is just not there for most. And I would go even further to say, out of all those customers that we have and all of the data, that we look at and we inspect, very, very few, less than 2 or 3% are primarily deriving their income from SEO. But I should put non-branded SEO, right? Like, are you an artist or photographer? Mike.
Photographer.
So, okay. So aside from Mike Johnson Photography, which by the way, you're hosed on that name right out of the gates too. You think there's any more Mike Johnson photographers? If I put in Mike Johnson Photography, there's probably 50 of you, right? Like 10 pages because you have a comment.
I'm not the only one.
Yes, you're not the only one. So yeah, really at the end of the day, it's about ROI more than anything else. And a perfect example, like the history of this business and other digital businesses are written by companies that got to the party first and got really, really good at it, and then they're almost impossible to get out of the way. And so if you look at Fine Art America, for just about every artist that's on there, for just about every term, they own it because they've been at it for 15 years and they killed it. But it's a marketplace, right? It's a different story entirely. That's what I'd say. It's just not the best use of the times. ROI is not there. Actually, to be honest with you, it's a huge weight off your shoulders because most artists are not like technical SEO thinking types. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. You have to put in the proper title and meta description for your homepage, for your About Us page, for your FAQ page. And for each one of your pieces, it takes very, very little time. Once that's done, you're done. We actually have a feature that does a lot of it for you automatically, believe it or not. But yeah, you don't have to do it.
Thank you for answering that.
Yeah. It's also like a question that infuriates me because you guys are preyed upon by all these people that like are offering SEO services, right? Like here, $1,000 and you'll get listed on 27 different directories, and the premise is that it's just going to make fish jump in your boat. And if it sounds too good to be true, let me tell you, is it, right? It probably is. Just you getting listed a bunch of places does not work. And then also, that's not how art is sold. I don't randomly in my mind think, what kind of stuff do you shoot, Mike? Just give me one subject matter.
Architecture.
I don't randomly in my head think like, architecture photos. I'm going to go and buy one today, and I'm going to go into Google and look at it. That's not how art is sold. How art is sold is I'm going to go onto Instagram, type in architecture photo, and I'm going to scroll through a bunch of photos, and I'm going to be like, ooh, that one's cool. I'm going to save it. Ooh, that one's cool. I'm going to save it. Ooh, who's this guy, Mike Johnson? He takes autograph photos. Then I'm going to follow you. And then I'm going to be seeing your Instagram post for the next 3 months. And then I'm going to move out of my crappy apartment into a big house because I want to get out of a COVID downtown. And I'm going to be like, I need to get some, oh yeah, that Mike guy. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to check it out. I'm going to see you're running a sale. And then I'm going to purchase. That's how it's sold. Not by just hitting a search engine. Very, 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 very little art or photography is sold by instantaneous search intent. Let me go find something. Let me buy it. Not the way that it works, right? It's like, it can be thought of without being tawdry, okay? Photography and art sales are a relationship. They're a courtship, okay? That's how it happens. They are not one-night stands. They are not one-night stands. I would say 2 out of 100 art or photography sales are one-night stands. 98% are courtship, i.e., I find you, I get on your list, or I follow you on Instagram, or I follow you on Facebook, and you're posting all the time, and I'm commenting, and I'm liking, and then I get on your email list, and then you send me an email, and I see a live art show, and then I'm finally ready to buy, and the purchase happens. So that's how that goes. No one ever tells you that, though. It's also why most people fail at Facebook and Instagram ads. Okay, Monty sent me a bunch of questions, and Monty, I'm gonna unmute you, and I'm scrolling back up to your questions because I know I pasted them in a comment for you. So Monty's first question, and Monty, you'll need to hit and it's Mary, right? Not Monty, or do you go by Monty? It's bottom left-hand corner is where your mic is. Her first question is, how do you use the artist's current website? What did you mean by that one, Monty?
Well, I have several websites already. I have 2, and one I've had a really long time,
Okay.
and the other one is fairly new, and it was started by my book publisher.
Okay.
And I want to keep that one as it is.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure, would you work with the other one I have, or would you put up an entirely different website?
Yeah, so we kind of have like a framework for going through this, and it's a good question. So this will sort of help me explain it. Is the website deriving or creating a bunch of income opportunities for you currently?
No.
No. Okay. So that tells me one thing. Number 2, though, the fact that you've had it for a long time tells me I want to use that URL because it's been in Google. Google knows who it is. Google likes to trust sites that have been around a much longer time. It tends to give you a little bit of a bump. And so what you do is you go to whatever is hosted the domain. Most people use GoDaddy. And instead of pointing it at that old site, you would just point it to your art storefront site. Done. That would be the way to go about it. Then you keep the same URL, so you're not losing any of those links. You're not losing the traffic. You're not losing the trust that you built up with Google over the years, and you're just redirecting it to your art storefront site. And that's the other thing. The artist, the photographer, all of our customers own everything with us. They own the URL, they own the domain, they own the email list, they own the traffic generation, and you're in complete control. So it's as easy as pointing that old URL to your new site. It's done in less than 12 hours, and you're up and running.
So you would put up the new site though, and it would be different.
Yes. I mean, we don't do it for you. I mean, we do have packages where we can do it for you, but yes, you get a website from us, and then, like I said, you point the URL to it, and then it becomes your site.
Okay.
So that's how that works. Hold on, I'm going to go back to your second question. No. So that sort of answered it. You have 2 websites. What would be the third? And then also I'll give you a 4 instance, right? So we have so many different customers with so many different individual sort of, solutions. And one of the ones that comes up more than anything else is, this concept of like a commercial photographer, right? And so Monty, in your instance, an author, because you've got a book site, and then an art store, right? And so here's a guy who's a commercial photographer, and you can see he's got his normal stuff, projects, portfolios, motion, stock archive, wildlife, all that type of stuff. And then if I click on Fine Art, it sends me to his art storefronts install. And on here is, just where he sells his fine art. And so he has 2 different websites. Both are linked one to the other. So you can be on one, you can pop right back to the other. And that's essentially how he does it. So that's how I would do it with your book site. And then any traffic that you continue to generate from the book site you can funnel to your fine art, and so to your fine art to selling the book if you're so inclined.
Okay.
Is your newsletter connected to this? Was your next question. We advocate that our customers use an ESP. ESP is email service provider called MailChimp that works very well, very user friendly, and you should be sending your newsletters from there. And then we teach you how to email and what to email and when to email and all those types of things.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
will they use our mailing list or they go to us?
Yes. Oh, 100% we use your mailing list already. You know, there's a ton of different ways to leverage that. The fact that you have the mailing list already is music to my ears because many artists don't. So yes, we teach you how to email, when to email, what to email, how to email a sale, what that looks like, how to send emails to unopens. I mean, you basically get a Bachelor of the Arts in marketing, in art and photography marketing from us on a year in, year out basis. So we teach you how to do all of that and leverage all of that. So absolutely.
You need help with getting a better subscriber list.
Oh, everybody. By the way, I love you over there. These questions are exactly what I want to hear. You know, I could go as far to say, you can almost judge the size of the art of the photography business within reason based on the size of the email list. Meaning, each email subscriber on a list, if you're doing the appropriate marketing, again, which we teach you to do, has a dollar value that's worth you on a monthly basis. And so somebody with a 100,000 person list, simple math, versus somebody with a 1,000 person list. So we teach you to capture emails and have a bunch of tips and tricks and hacks and things. And it goes on all year long. And that's just a huge part of modern marketing. Like art storefronts as a business, we need to be capturing email addresses all the time if we want to grow. It's no different for the artist, no different for the photographer. So
Okay.
what'd you write the book on, just out of curiosity?
Oh, I have novels, and I also have an angel book that has poetry that goes with the paintings in it.
Oh, good for you. That's awesome. And so do you sell some sort of printed poetry that goes with each photo, or goes with each painting? Is it like an insert or an add-on?
Well, that is something I've started.
Good. Let's get that going on 100%. That's a great little, like, bonus and or sweetener to the original sale for certain. And then you could do it on the prints too, which would also be awesome.
Thank you for that thought.
Yeah, we got a lot of those ideas. Don't worry. We'd love to help you. We'd love to help you. Good.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Monty. Okay, Rick, you're up next. Go ahead, Rick. Rick Perkins.
Okay. What's the process from the day we sign up with you, and what load is it on us until we've got a website that's ready to go?
It's usually based on your level of technical acumen. If you ever built a site before, we try to get everybody live in 14 days or less. So from the time you start to the time your website is up, it's 14 days or less. We have just incredible support to help you, assuming you do hit snags, assuming you've never built a website before in your life. Ours are a lot less intimidating than most, meaning you don't have to do that much work. We've already done most of the work for you. We need a logo, we need an About Us section, and we need you to upload the work and pick your media types. That's it. There's no other website monkeying around or crazy font work or design or any of the rest of it, because you don't have a website problem. You have a marketing problem, right?
Yeah.
The barrier to entry is the art up? Does it look beautiful? Can it take credit card and fulfill the orders? If it's yes, let's get marketing. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have to get a domain name if we don't have one to start with?
Yes.
Okay.
Very important.
Then,
You don't have, well, I should qualify that. You don't have to, but yes, I want you to, because that's an asset, right? As you start in on the marketing, as you start building up your site, as people, as you're linking to it from your social media profiles, as you're sending emails, as people are visiting, you're building up an asset there, which is that URL that you own. So of course I want you to own it. I don't want it to be stuck with us, right? You decide to go somewhere else or change your mind later. No, you take the URL with you. It's part of the game.
And the URL, I guess it's really important because that's going to be our focus for any marketing effort, as a destination.
You got it. You got it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really new at this, so it's just.
That's okay.
And then I guess I heard you mention Instagram earlier, and you said Pinterest is not worth the time.
No, not worth the time.
What other resources are important then?
So we do primarily. I mean, we're contrarian about it, right? And as you have to be, like everyone else, like, ooh, which one's the best one? The best one is the one that has all the attention, that has all the eyeballs, right? Like stated another way simply, if we're in the fishing business, we have to go where the fish are, right? And so currently the fish are on Facebook and the fish are on Instagram to a tremendous degree. And they're very visual people there that buy art. It's proven 1,000 times over. So it's important to be marketing in those spots. If that changes as time goes on, and it will, there'll be some new latest and greatest thing. And if it does, we'll master that before anyone else, and we'll teach you that one as well. But yes,
And those are really business sites as opposed to personal sites on those two.
correct. Well, it's semantics there, right? Like, one, you're asking a branding question versus two, a technical question. Like, is the account type a personal page or a business page? So I'll answer the technical ones. Is on Facebook, you need a business page because you're only allowed 5,000 friends on a personal account. We'd like to see it grow above that. On Instagram, you need a business page once you decide to start advertising. But on Instagram, you can switch back and forth between the two. Those are the semantics of the business side of the equation. In terms of the marketing side, though, you are as much the brand as the art is. It's as much Rick Perkins as it is the photographs of the polar bears, assuming that's what you do. I can see in the background. So, it matters less, like Rick Perkins photography or Rick Perkins doesn't matter to us, right? Like, it's all marketing at the end of the day.
Patrick, just one further question.
Please.
What percentage of the business that you're in is photography, and what part is more of an art form?
Reed, what would you say? I said I thought we were close to a 60-40. I don't know. What do you think, Reed?
Yeah, from my experience over 6 years, just people I've brought on board, I'd say it's pretty close to 50-50. Probably leaning slightly towards photographers because we have print on demand and photographers absolutely love print on demand, but it's pretty close to split just in terms of the people I'm talking to.
Yeah. And both, there's people that sell extremely well in both, and like literally every niche imaginable. The art and photography world is so crazy. And the tendency is to think it's about
Photoshop. We can change a lot of our photography into art anyway.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Yeah. My point is that and people don't like to hear this, and so please do take it with a grain of sand. But it's actually as much about you and your marketing as it is the work. There are people that you would look at as a trained photographer, Rick. I'm making assumptions, and you would say this person doesn't know the rule of thirds. This person has serious framing issues. I don't like their retouching, and yet they're selling incredibly well because they're very good at their marketing and they have a personality, and people get to know, like, and trust them, and they just like their style and like what they do. And every single solitary customer that we have has their own unique story and how they go about it, and it's just such a mixed bag from one person to the other. And one of the examples that I love to give too is that people often ask, how big of an email list do I need, or how many social followers do I need, or what are the best-selling genres right now, or what are the best-selling media types, or what are the most important price points? And fundamentally, underlying all of those questions is the premise that there is some sort of magical formula that works for everyone, and nothing could be further from the truth. Absolutely nothing. I am seeing on a regular basis completely discordant results that would drive any statistician nuts. For example, we have a gal that has 5,000 Instagram followers and 1,000 people on our email list. We're going to contrast that with a guy that has 1.4 million Instagram followers and is a household name. The gal outsells him 10-1. How the hell do I explain that with stats, right? It sort of violates you can measure an art business based on the size of the email list, which is still sort of true. But the larger point is that there's just, everyone's got a different story. The story is just crazy from person to person, from style to style. And so the great news about it is it takes that burden of worry off of your shoulders, and all you have to do is focus on your game, focus on your follower list, focus on what you're putting out. And if you do that and you stay at it consistently, you're on the path to building a business that works.
Thank you.
Yeah. Reed, Eric has a question for you. You might want to answer this one. Can you see it in the chat? I can read it too. It'll make it easier.
I got it. Yeah. Asking about the upfront and monthly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let me just take pricing from the top for anyone who doesn't know. So we have different plans at different levels. With the promo we're running right now, the minimum cost to get started will be $1,000 to activate plus $44 monthly. That'll be the essentials. And then we have plans to go up from there. Our fully loaded top plan will be $2,700 to activate plus $59 monthly. And that has more features, just more bells and whistles, front end and back end. And to answer your question specifically, Eric, The upfront is one time. So if you do the entry plan, it's $1,000 one time to activate that plan, and then just 44 per month ongoing for as long as you're with us.
And just
another,
go ahead, Reed.
Go ahead, Patrick.
No, I was just gonna say to follow up on it, like the easiest way to think about it is, everybody comes onto these calls and they think they have a website problem. And if I was the genie, I just came out of the lamp and I said, okay, your one wish, I will move your website wherever you want, and I'll move it right now, instantaneously. You don't have to pay for anything. It wouldn't change your business. It wouldn't change any of your businesses because you guys don't have website problems. You have marketing problems. We realize this, and we realize that if we want to have successful customers, we got to fix the marketing problem. And so what we did to fix that problem is we essentially created an art business university. It's like going to college, except there's no graduates. You sign up, and we have all of these various different teaching materials, live classes, do-it-yourself, textbooks, a Facebook group, a calendar, what tells you to do 365 days a year, and it never stops. It never stops. So that's what you're paying for. You're ultimately paying to have ongoing marketing education for the rest of your lives.
Yeah, and what's important to a distinction to make on that entry plan, you have all of that, right? So you don't have all the features on the website, but that's not that important in the very beginning. So when someone signs up at the $1,000 level plus 44 monthly, they have a monthly marketing plan put together by our marketing team for them to follow every single month, the marketing workshops, the coaching, the community, the playbook. So I think the mindset for someone coming on board is to dive all into that before anything else. And really, like with the way the plans are set up, the plan we're selling and advertising is the top plan, the $2,700 plan. It's got augmented reality, every feature we have, everything you're going to want. The entry plan is basically to finance. So for the person who wants to be on the top plan, but it's just not an option with their budget, or they don't feel like they need everything out of the gate, they can get their foot in the door at 1,000 with all of the marketing, dive into that. And then once that's really starting to resonate and they're seeing traffic and some consistency in terms of people on the website, that's when you want to upgrade, because that's when you really are going to need the features. At that point, you might be leaving some money on the table by not having all the features. So
yeah, and Penny was asking, you can upgrade or downgrade at any point in time, right?
100%. Yeah.
I can't believe you shaved your mustache off, by the way.
I know. It's a shame. I know.
Had one of the best mustaches in the business for many
good
years.
Run.
Yeah. Okay, Catherine had a question. I got to find you, Catherine, so I can unmute you. Go ahead, Catherine. It's your mic icon. Yep, gotcha.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm up here in Cape Breton, and mainly what I sell is large landscapes done with oil paint or acrylic paint.
Okay.
And what I'm wondering is, I don't want to make reproductions.
Okay.
So I have good photographs, but I just want to sell the originals.
Okay.
Is that going to work digitally?
100%. Couple of questions first before I answer. One, where's Cape Breton? Just curious.
Cape Breton is an island that's attached to Nova Scotia.
Oh, amazing. Amazing. I need to get up to
Way
Nova
up,
Scotia. Yeah, that place looks
east.
insanely beautiful. Okay, but thank you for fixing my geographic ignorance there. Number two,
That's okay.
what are your originals start at? Starting price.
My original what?
What are your originals start at? Yeah, like from a price point standpoint. Like let's say entry level.
Oh, price point?
Yeah.
Probably 500 to 1,000.
500
or maybe, and then 2,000 for the big ones.
and 2,000 for
So
the big ones.
500 to 2,000.
Okay, so to answer your question, yes, we are as laissez-faire as it comes with what you can and can't do. So if you just want to sell originals and potentially just do commissions so that people can buy a commission and request one of you, fantastic. My concern though, for you is that how many stores do you walk into where the starting price is $500? Not many, right?
The one here.
Yeah, but not many in the grand
Cape
scheme of
Breton
things.
Center for Crafts and Design here.
In the
So
reason,
probably
yeah,
raise it.
the reason for that, and the reason I bring that up is everyone's followers can be thought of as a bell curve, okay? And my camera always gets reversed on this, so I got to remember where to start. The bell curve, is that right? Yeah, okay. It's just so hard to do in reverse. I'm just not going to watch. I'm going to start here. So down on the very bottom of the bell curve, okay, and this is a socioeconomic bell curve, okay? lower income folks are not going to buy anything. They're going to like, they're going to comment, they're going to share, they're going to tell you your work is beautiful, but they can't really afford to buy anything. And then we have lower middle class, upper middle class, and then we have the high net worth individuals. Everyone's followers map to that graph, okay, in some capacity or another. And as you start in on your marketing, and as you understand the perspective of how long you're going to be doing this art and being an artist. I mean, I talk to people on these Zoom calls on a biweekly basis that are in their 90s that are asking me marketing questions. So you've got 30 years left of selling this art, okay? As you understand one of the most fundamental and important rules of business, the easiest customer to get is the one that you already have, okay? That is already transacted. That is the easiest customer to get. My concern for you is that there are a whole lot of people that are following you that would love to buy something from you. They would love to support you. They love what you're doing, but $500 is not in their budget right now. And it might not be in their budget for the next 7 years. And what you're saying is, I don't want to have these prints, okay, because it's just not something I'm interested in doing. Well, you're missing out on these $75 price points to $150, the $150 to $350, the $450. You're missing out on all those price points. And so you don't necessarily have to have prints to fill that gap, but I would love for you to have something to fill that gap, such that you can derive some extra income from those folks. You can add those folks to your email list, and you can continue to build the business that way. And as you look at it, it's like your art business is no different than the local retail store right there, right? Like, you know, you have this size store, but you're not going to have a whole bunch of racks in there with stuff for other people, right? You know, when you walk into a store and you get in the other stuff that you're getting, and then you get into that aisle where they're making you wait in the check stand, and there's all those little, you know, like tchotchke kind of things, cell phone cables or Skittles or everything else as you're walking down the aisle to finally check out. There's a reason. That increases AOV, average order value of your business, right? And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to come, and it sounds small margin, but a couple hundred a year and a couple hundred there, and you know, $500 purchase there and $150. Those things add up over time, and it's hard to really seriously grow a big business without those things. Those things can significantly help you. So, okay, if you don't want to do the prints, I understand that. But what about doing a gift shop concept with merch, or getting some other items in the store such that those people can buy? It's like they buy a calendar. You've got this calendar on their wall 12 weeks a year. Their friend comes over and they're like, "Ooh, that's beautiful work. What is that?" "Oh yeah, that's this artist that I just bought this calendar from. It's phenomenal. Yeah, I was just looking to outfit my new vacation home. I need to get a couple of those." And then they call you. It's like, that's how it happens. That's how it happens in the real world, and you're missing out on all those opportunities because $500 is a high price point. So I'd say.
Good point, but really, I have this stomach ache when I think of doing
It doesn't have to be prints.
anything
Yeah.
more than.
Yeah, it doesn't.
No,
Oh, well,
that's
yeah.
right. I can
Yeah.
make something small.
And you know what else is really cool too is that you could contemplate anyway, is not impasto, but ordering a print and then doing some original work on top of it. Not a lot.
Yeah, I've done that before.
Yeah, people love those. People love those, right? And then the next thing you know, we've got what, a $250 price point, or doing some small ones, right? And doing
Holy,
that same
I
thing.
can't believe I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something to think about. Something to think about. And I got to get up to Nova Scotia. I know it's just insanely beautiful there. But you'll forgive me if I want to come during the summer and not the winter.
Oh, the summer is much better here.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Yeah. Well, what else? Any other questions, Catherine?
No, that's good. Thanks.
By the way, how do you go about selling your art? Is it all just local fairs and shows? Summer primarily, tourists in Nova Scotia?
I've shown here at the university a number of times, and
Mhm.
I've shown in Halifax, but just once. And I find it just so much energy goes into the marketing that I avoid it at all costs.
No, you're not the only one.
Instead, I just keep producing, and now I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting older. What are my kids going to do with all these huge canvases?
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to get rid of them. So I don't necessarily want to build up my business. I feel fairly satisfied, but I want to get rid of all this artwork. And when I start a show, they don't want old stuff. They don't want the stuff that's been around for a while. And yet it's every bit as good as what I'm doing now. I've been working for 45 years, so things aren't going to change all that much overnight.
Right. Well, I'm going to send you, so, you know, one of the things that I'm just so insanely bullish on, and I have this whole like art selling pyramid thing that I've come up with that explains it, but there's 3 ways to sell art. The best way to sell art, trick question, in person, face to face. That's never going to change. It's always been the way it is. Problem, we are not all of us located in Nova Scotia. Okay, so you're not going to be able to sell in person. So you have to have a website, right? Also, you need to sleep, right? And so the website solves for that. 15 people can be on the website at a time. So all of those are important things. The next best way, the next latest and greatest way to sell art is via what we're doing right now. It's video in either a one-to-one capacity or a one-to-many capacity. And, as I contemplate your inventory and the situation you're in, one of the things that we are really like, all the way in on is this concept of a live art show. And I'm pulling one up now so that I can show you. And I'm also pulling up a fellow Canadian, although he lives in Quebec, a place called Laval. But I just want to show you.
He lives where?
In Laval. It's in Quebec, outside of
Laval.
Quebec. What is it said Laval?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're lighting me up for the Canadian pronunciation. But anyway, I'm going to show you this now. Let me pull it up. So this is the concept of a live art show. I'm going to pull myself out of it. And he had in his basement like 350 extra works. Okay. And this is him in his garage studio, and he is streaming live onto the socials, which is one of these things that we teach him how to do. And he's running through the old works, and he's discounting them, and he's selling them. In this particular instance, there were 2 shows, and I'm going to send you guys these after the fact so you can watch them and you can see. There was that one, and I think he's got a renaming issue. Let me just see here. Hold on. We've got to help him clean this thing up, Juan. It's a mess. Here's the other one. Okay. This one, he's not even wearing sleeves in this one, okay? Not even wearing sleeves. Anyway, over the 2-day period, he sold 62 pieces of work for a little over 30,000 Canadian. He had to ship pieces inside Canada, inside the United States, a couple into Central America, a couple to Europe, and a couple to Asia. So he wasn't happy about the shipping, but it's an insanely effective way to sell art without leaving the house. The concept of the live art show is just absolutely phenomenal. And so in your instance, what would we do? We would say, hey guys, Catherine is having a basement sale. She has got to get a number of these pieces out of her house. Her kids have said they don't have the wall space. As such, we're going to have a number of incredible deals. It's going to be a live art show. It's going down such and such day. She takes PayPal. She takes Venmo. And here's the link. And you would stream it to one of your social sites. One of your kids could come over and help you with the tech if you had those issues. And we would see how we would do. And my guess is you would probably sell a ton of art.
Great.
Yeah. So we could definitely help you with that. But my concern is if you don't have the desire to continue building the business, and it sounds like you don't, you're sort of satisfied and you like the creation side of it. It sounds like you're kind of transitioning your business more to a hobby. Yeah. Like you're retired, you're enjoying it. You don't need the money.
Starting to get there. I teach too, so I'm kind of leaning on that more.
Yeah.
But now with COVID, of course, all my teaching has gone up in smoke until we can finally get back together again. So
right.
I have a little opportunity here to kind of get busy, and maybe I am serious about wanting to sell these paintings, and there are a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
There's at least 100.
Yes.
So it'd be nice to get them out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. And it'd be nice to get some money back for them too. Well, we'll send you the videos. If they pique your interest, you should just request a demo, talk to our team, because we can help you. But again, my concern is that in full transparency, I don't want you, working to build a business you don't want to have and continue to sell your art for the next 10, 15 years, right? I would appreciate it more if you did that work knowing that you have more income opportunities as the years go on and you're continuing to paint, right? And continuing to do all that.
Well, I am continuing to paint. I can't stop that.
No, that's the thing. That's the thing. And
okay.
Yeah, and thank you. I talk to hundreds of you guys week in and week out, and like I said, it's like, you do this for as long as I've been doing this, and pattern recognition becomes a very, very real thing. And what I am smacked across the face with is, you guys are not like, and by you guys, artists and photographers are not like normal humans that have like midlife crises. And they decide that they're going to go become a tax accountant, or they want to go coach baseball or something, and they do a complete career change. You guys are these things for life. So you never stop creating. And I'm just, week in, week out, there's more and more people on these calls, and I'm not kidding, that are in their 70s, their 80s, their 90s, and they're still at it. And it's like, you look at that And then you're like, okay, well, you're at whatever age you're at now. It's like, I don't really want to continue to market or build a business up. And it's like, are you crazy? You could be doing this to your 90s. You absolutely want to build this business up. Have the perspective for how long you have to keep going on it. I mean, it's sort of incredible. But yeah, check out the video. I think you'll find it really interesting. And then let us know, Catherine. But I think you should leverage that technique and start clearing out some of that inventory. Important. Okay, Julius, you're up. And welcome back, Julius, too.
Thank you, thank you. Good morning.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's afternoon where you are. Anyhow, start way at the beginning. How do you guys help me to attract people to my website?
Yeah, it's just marketing. It's what we teach you to do all year long, and it's a whole range of activities. We teach you to capture emails, and there's a whole bunch of techniques to do that. We teach you to email that list on a regular basis. There's a whole bunch of techniques to do that. We teach you how to post on Facebook. We teach you how to post on Instagram. We teach you how to have a sale, all the mechanics and everything that's involved in there. And you know,
I have an extremely limited range of people on that I have on social media.
Mhm.
So how do I improve that list?
Your virtual eyebrows, by the way, are totally hilarious. You've got like the virtual eyebrows / like black lipstick that are popping all over the screen, which I find to be totally awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't get rid of them, by the way. I don't.
Yeah, I think it's a like a Zoom filter thing that you have on or something. Your kid probably turned it on to punk you or something, but it's hilarious. Or you did it accidentally.
The question. I don't know that many people.
Mhm.
How do I improve that list?
Yeah. So again, it's just marketing. Everyone thinks there's some sort of secret, like you pay into some sort of club, or you buy some sort of magical list, or something along those lines. Not the way it works, right? Like you build a list one email address at a time. You build Facebook and Instagram followers one follower at a time, and it's really the only way that I'm aware of that you can easily get attention in today's day and age, right? Like the shows and theirs. Those aren't coming back anytime soon. They're not coming back at 100% capacity. Very difficult to make pay, and they're expensive. The galleries, half of them are closed and not opening back up. The other half that are still open now have 4 times the amount of artists and photographers to pick from. So I don't know what the alternative is in today's day and age. It's marketing. You have to do digital marketing, and you have to learn how to do it. So, if you're in a position where you're like, you know what, I'll do it. I'll put in the work. I'll figure it out. Then we're a great fit. If you're like, I just don't know if I have the marketing gas in the tank, then that's a separate conversation. But we'll teach you. We'll teach you.
Work. I just don't have the know-how.
Yeah, you don't have to have the know-how. We give you the know-how. I mean, literally, you're going to be in college, week in, week out, for the entire life that you're a customer. It's fun though. You're going through it with a bunch of your peers, and everyone's learning at the same time, and various different paces, and you have constant support and people helping you the whole time. It's pretty awesome.
Okay, I know I have a question that you may or may not be able to answer. I was just looking at one of your clients. I can't remember what it was called. Latitudes Gallery.
Yes.
And they're selling these giant color prints for $95.
Yes.
How the heck do they do that? I mean,
there's so every customer has their own option, right? And in every media type, there's everything from very inexpensive to very high end, right? And so in Latitude's case, I think with that particular piece, I'd have to go and look at it, but my guess is it's a very cheap poster stock, and they're satisfying the same advice that I was giving Catherine, right? Like inexpensive price points to satisfy that portion of the market. But if you looked at some of their other pieces, I mean, some of the other pieces they have in there are extremely expensive, $7,500 to $15,000, if I recall. So they have the range in there because they are a retail gallery.
Okay, it makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, that satisfies me for the moment. Let's proceed.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Julius. Appreciate it. One of the things that I need to do is we're always curious about whether or not these sessions are actually delivering value. So I'm throwing a poll across the screen. It's totally anonymous. I won't know that you voted. All you have to do is click one of the buttons and just, meh is like, yeah, whatever. This is lame. Solid, good, middle of the road. Awesome. You're getting value out of it. And I'm hugely appreciative for everyone that fills it out. It takes 2 seconds. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else is going on. Reed, we do have a sale in the water right now. Do we not?
We do.
Do you want to
Yeah,
talk to me about that? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So for our spring sale, on the entry plan, which I just quoted at 1,000, typically that's $1,750 for the one time. and then still 44 per month. So on that plan, they've knocked 750 off down to 1,000. And then our top plan, the $2,700 plan, is typically 4,000. So they're taking 1,300 off of that. And then also on those monthlies, if you want to bill month to month with us, that's fine. There's no commitments, no contracts. You just pay as you go at that monthly rate for as long as you want to be here. For the people that want to bill annually, which a lot of people do just to take care of it and be done for the year, you get a discount on that annual rate. And then as part of their promo, you also get 6 months free, which is pretty huge. So that annual payment you make, instead of covering you for the normal 1 year, is covering you for a year and a half. And most people know that they want to do this that long anyway. So there's basically what that's doing is spreading it out over 18 months. It's dropping the monthly down to 50%. So there's some savings there.
Yeah, and I should say, we run these sessions 3 days a week, right? We are a very non-pushy, non-salesy operation. And why do I bring that up? Like, if you're just discovering us for the first time, or you're just getting information, like, don't feel pressured to do anything. Okay, just look, we'll be here. Don't worry about it. If you are interested, though, in getting more information, the demo process, you fill out a form, you put in your number, either Reed or someone from his team calls you. It's a 10 to 15 minute call. You ask all the questions of them you want, nitty gritty, whatever it is. They'll take a look at your work. They'll talk to you about it. They'll see whether or not it's a good fit. If it's not, don't worry. They will never call you again. No pressure. If it is, you schedule the full demo. The full demo goes like an hour and change, depending. And we show every bell and whistle and all the integrations, and you ask questions, and it's a whole screen share, event. So that's how we do things. And, if you are on the fence, definitely request a demo, because there's a good sale running, and you can get in, and you can get started, and you can start getting all of these things ironed out well ahead of fourth quarter, which is coming, which is the biggest art selling time of the year, every single solitary year. But zero pressure. Zero pressure. So Monty's asking if there is a plan in between. I don't know the answer to that, Reed, if there's a plan in between. Monty, you might need to.
Yeah, Monty, there is. So if the entry plan's 1,000 and the top plan's 2,700, there's a middle plan that's 2,000 that has just more features. Not all the features that are on the top plan, but kind of middle of the road in terms of bells and whistles, back end, front end tools. So.
And let me say thank you to Brandon. I never felt pressured, but was grateful for the emails I would receive. After 2 years, when I was ready, I finally signed up. Like, turns out, Art Storefronts actually sells like art does, which means you get to know the people, you get on the list, you realize they have something awesome. Then when you're finally ready, it happens. Like, that's what I mean. Everything happens the same way. There's no one night stands. Everything's relationship based in today's day and age, I tell you. Aside from, I'm going to just leave that there. But guys, any other questions while we're on here? Anything. It can be about our plan. It could be about how your business is going. Penny, I see you. I gotcha. Boom. And then Kimberly will get you next. Go ahead, Penny.
Okay. I do books, and I do paintings and photography. And you showed that beautiful video of how you can do that app on the wall and see your print. Okay. So for photography, I would have a photograph. I would send it to you.
No. Yeah. So let me.
How would I get people to see that size difference and all that?
Ooh, I got that one cooked up and ready to roll, Penny. So we're gonna go ahead and see it. So I got to get you out. I got to get this full. I'm going to take myself out of it so you won't see my annoying face in here.
So you create the website
and art. So yeah. So this would be your website. It would be, Penny, whatever your website is. And so this is the actual product page to the website. Okay. And when they're on the website, in fact, let's just do this organically. It'd be better. So when they're on the website, right? And like, let's say they're looking at a photo, and I'm going to grab one of his photos, and we'll grab this one, right? There's multiple steps and layers to this whole thing. So the first step somebody might do is they might come to the website and they might do the wall preview, and they want to see what this thing potentially looks like in various different room configurations, right? And they can size it up, and they can size it down, and they can say, okay, what color walls does the conference room have? It's this yellow. So how's it going to look like there? I don't really think it looks good. That's step one. But if I get out of this and I go back, all they have to do is come to your website with their cell phone and press this live preview button. Okay. When they do, that is when it takes it and it puts it in augmented reality right onto the wall. So in this instance, where am I in this video? You know, this is the cell phone actually coming to this person's website and pressing one button, the live preview with AR, and then boom, it's there. And the best part about this, no app required. It just does it with your cell phone. So you're not telling them to download some sort of app. Oh, I've got to get an app. Is that you have? No, none of that. It just works with the cell phone. And then what's great about this is like, yes, they can come to your website at any point in time and they can do it, which is awesome. But where it is really awesome, where it doesn't get spoken about enough, is this notion of consultative sales. Meaning they're like, hey, we're really close to a decision on this, but we're having a hard time thinking through, you know, this size or that size. What do you think? And you're like, oh, great. Get a cell phone, stand at this portion of the wall, and you can go ahead and look at it on the wall. Does it match with the furniture? What size do I need, right? Like they can take screenshots and they can send the screenshots to significant others or keep them. And it's just phenomenal in terms of consultative sales, is where we see it being used, probably even more so than just people coming to the site. But, you know, everyone thinks it's one feature that gets things over the line. And that one is an awesome one. I'll give it to you, but it's never one feature. It's always the suite of features, right? That get it done.
All right, but you also said that you get 15% on prints. So if somebody did that and said, I want an 8x10 or a 11/17, who would print it, and how do you get a commission on that?
Yeah,
I don't understand that.
Reed, you want to explain the POD?
Yeah, of course. So yes, we do have transaction fees on the prints. The 15% penny would be on our entry plan. So you can lower that as you upgrade. That'd be a reason to upgrade if you didn't start on the top plan. Because on the $2,700 plan, it's 10%. And you can do limited editions and print and ship yourself at a 5% transaction fee. But the way that works in terms of the order, let's say somebody orders, let's say they order a $100 print off your site, just to use easy numbers. And the production on that's $30. Then 30 will come out and go to the lab immediately so they can start fulfilling the order. 15 will come out and go to us if you're on that entry plan. And then 55 goes to you.
But so, you do the printing and you pay for the print?
Yeah, 100%. So with print on demand, we have you connected to either Bay on the East Coast, Bay on the West Coast, or Graphic on the East Coast. And that automates everything. So whenever someone orders, let's say they order a 16x20 matted framed print, that order is going to go straight to Bay, straight to your customer, and your money gets deposited into your account based on a markup that you've set.
So all I would have to do is put all of my photography on my website.
And you got it. It's one of the best.
Go to you to print it all?
No, you once the photography's up on the website, once you get the order, you do nothing. The order comes in, the printer gets paid, you get paid. The print gets the order gets printed, it goes into a box, your logo gets slapped on the box, and it goes directly to your customer. You touch nothing. Nothing. There are no minimums. There's no carrying inventory. It's the same if you're selling any of those various different prints or if you're selling merch also. So you can sell any of those things and you're not involved in any of that. But there's a reason, Penny. It's so that you can spend that time when you're marketing. I got to teach you to market.
Okay, I had a couple other questions that I stuck in here, but
go.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out if I pay the $1,000 now and I want to upgrade, does the $1,000 count towards the next level?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, so you just pay the difference. If you want to bump up to the middle plan, you'd pay that difference, and then to the top plan, you'd pay that difference.
Okay, but for the $1,000, I get a website. You build the website. You print the stuff. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, you have everything you need, all the essentials. So the full website, up to 500 products on the site, our hosting, security, full print on demand,
all the marketing,
merch, all the marketing, right? The marketing calendar and the workshops.
And I don't have to pay any money other than the hosting.
No, I mean, that's the 44 per month on the entry plan is covering everything. The only thing it doesn't cover is your domain, which is $10 a year, or whatever it is through GoDaddy. So that's it. That's the
Well,
only
I have
thing.
my own domain. I mean,
Yeah, he's saying that's the only thing you actually have to pay for.
Yeah.
I have that. Okay.
Yeah, you got it already. You're already paying for it.
Yeah. Okay, what else did I want to know? Okay, on paintings.
Yes.
I mean, they're a specific size. If somebody wanted it bigger, it would be a print. Is that?
Yes.
that
Yeah, unless you,
generally
unless you want to paint a bigger one for him. Yes.
Okay, are these paper prints, or I mean, it's on canvas or paper?
You have
or-
all the options. We offer all the major media types. So all the various different papers, whether photographic paper, texture, fine art paper. There's canvas, there's acrylic, there's metal, there's wood, and it's set at your discretion what you would like to offer or not.
Toilet paper?
No toilet paper yet, but we are working on shower curtains, and we do.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm
yeah.
not kidding. We do have on the
No,
merch side of
hey,
things. We have puzzles.
I have a Hawaiian shower curtain. It looks like Hawaii with a palm tree and in the ocean. You walk in my bathroom and you
Penny
really,
is smiling every time she comes out of that bathroom. She's in an island groove. I
It's
love
true.
it. No, it is true. It's 100% true. So yeah, so you can do puzzles, you can do calendars, you can do greeting cards, you can do throw pillows if you want. You can do mugs. You
we
can
do that on Zazzle. I mean,
yeah. But we integrate with a third party like that, and so you just if you want to offer it, you offer it. Same thing. You don't have to worry about anything, and then they take care of shipping the order and all of that.
right. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Penny.
Okay.
Good questions. Okay, at North Light Studio, you're up.
Yeah, I was just wondering if for all your customers, your 4,500 or 5,500
55. Yep.
or so, what is the
All right.
average gross sales?
It's another one of those questions that, like, my wife has a PhD in statistics. I could give her the entire customer database and let her try to run it, and she would come in with some sort of reason why it's statistically you can't answer that question because it is the highs, the lows, the dropping, the average. Like,
No, all I was asking for was the average over all your customers.
so you're saying average? Oh yeah. I remember you asked this
If I
earlier.
have 100
Yeah, yeah.
customers that you do
Yeah.
$1,000 each, the average
Yeah, I would say we have very few customers over $1 million a year. Very, very few. I know. I'm giving you the breakdown. We have several that are in the high six figures, also an anomaly. We have a good deal that are over six figures, and we have the vast majority that are under six figures in various different stages of where they are. And I would probably say whatever the normal figures are for artists and photographers, ours are probably slightly increased than that, but it's reflective of the industry.
Okay.
Whatever those numbers are.
You should probably not look too far over five points.
What do you mean 5 points?
10,000, 20,000, something like that.
Well, I mean, I think what's so hard to say is that, like, you're trying to benchmark you and your story against something that is like an average, however you would grab the average. But like, there are so many different factors in there. There's like, okay, well, what do art businesses grow? Like, what is the nationwide average? Like, I just don't. I don't agree with the premise that there's some sort of like general rule of thumb for you, because I see businesses that I don't even think should be doing $10,000 a year, and they're doing $60,000, $70,000 a year. And you know what? Those people are thrilled because that's where their expectations map to. And then I see some where I don't even like the art. I don't even understand how someone's buying it, and they're well into six figures, which is crazy, right? And it's like it just comes down to like what your expectations map to, what your subject matter is, and how hard you're willing to work it.
Okay.
And I mean that genuinely, Ed. I'm not trying to be like competitive or like or cagey about it in the slightest. But I don't agree with the premise, because I think fundamentally it's that there's an average that's going to work for you. There's a best-selling media type that works for you, or there's a certain hours a week of marketing that you're going to need to put in to like get a certain level of success. It's not alchemy, right? There's not like a scientific formula where you can put things in and this is what comes out on the other end of it. It's such a subjective business. It's so different, right? Like, there's so many different factors. And, I think that's just true of business in general. It's like, okay, let's use the McDonald's example. There's a McDonald's franchises, right? And you could say, well, what does a McDonald's franchise do average a year? And that's a totally valid question. And there's got to be a number that does. But how do you map for the various different economies that they're in? and the ones that get the really good retail location versus the ones that get the bad retail location, and the ones that are really good at management and have a staff that's way friendlier than everyone else's. So they're not all equal. They'll never all be equal. They're all going to have their own story, right, based on those circumstances. Some McDonald's kill it, they destroy it. Some go out of business in the first year. So I feel like it's that type of a question.
But you still have your average. I mean, if you have $100,000 in sales for your company, and you have 100 customers, well, then you're averaging 1,000. I mean, that gives us at least an idea of, well, if we're going to put up $2,000-3,000, can we have at least
I see. Yeah,
sort of return?
Yeah, that helps me more. So, again, there's qualifying questions there. Have you sold your art? Is it art or photography? Ed, is it art? I mean, photography, I mean? Photography. Have you sold your photography to people not named mother, brother, family, friends, sister?
Yes.
Okay. If you sold to complete strangers, then
Yes.
you just have a marketing problem. You don't have you don't have a validation problem. Yeah. And that's a huge one, right? Because there's a lot of people that say, "Oh yeah, no, I've sold to a whole bunch of strangers," right? And they never have. And then they come on and they try to market a business and they have a product the market doesn't want. So that makes it really difficult. So that would be the cohort that I would need to like place you in to get an average. And I honestly don't know what the number is off the top of my head. I would say, again, it sounds like I'm being like combative or cagey or like non-disclosure. I mean, Reed, how would you answer that question? Because you get it all the time too. It's totally valid question, totally legit question. I mean, you heard what I've said about the premise underpinning it, but how would you answer it, Reed?
Yeah, for sure. So, like, and this is from my experience, having been here as long as I've been here. The people that I brought on board, who I've seen do well, the people that are going to hit the targets they want to hit and generate consistent monthly income. Everyone has different goals, but everybody wants to be making consistent monthly income from the artwork. Those people are the people who, for them, it's not so much about spending $1,000, $2,700 with the hopes of seeing this ROI in this amount of time. Obviously, that's what it's about, but really, it's the people who've been trying to do all of this, all of the marketing on their own, from Facebook, Instagram, emails, all the spinning plates to keep a business in front of people. And they just appreciate how hard that is or how much time it takes. And having done that single-handedly, don't want to do it anymore. They just don't have the time to do it, and they're not getting the results they want because they can't manage that. So with art storefronts, it's a no-brainer for them because with everything that they're buying into, with the calendars, the workshops, the coaching, the community, the website as well, like a proper website to actually sell, the wind is now at their back. Like they know exactly what they're doing every single day. Like literally they click into a calendar and here's their objective and their step-by-step tasks to knock out the marketing for the day. And then when they do hit a wall or they get derailed or they're thinking making a change, but they're not sure, they can talk to professional marketers. They can talk to our marketing team and get advice on their business. And of course, they have the automation and the backend tools and all of that working together. So for them, like, there's no way we can make them less successful. Like they're now doing what they were doing completely in isolation by themselves and having a really hard time with it. They're now doing collaboratively with us, who's been doing it for 7 years, 5,000 plus artists. So really like the choice they're making by investing in us is like, this is the new home for their business. Like they know they're going to be an artist till they die and they want to sell their artwork as well, like that forever. So they want to do that here. And they just feel like by doing it with us, they're giving themselves the best shot at success. But again, like I kind of say the same thing Patrick does, like everybody has their own story because we never know. Like I brought people on board who have just incredible jaw-dropping work. And then I'll bring people on board who, God bless them, like they have mediocre work. Nothing I would buy. I will say that. I don't want to pick on anybody, but I'll see those people run circles around everybody else if they do more marketing. So it just comes down to really what your goals are and whether or not we're going to line up with those goals in terms of like that long-term marketing roadmap.
Yeah, and you know what I would say, Ed, is I've had a few minutes to think about it. Like, go onto the Facebook page, our Facebook page. Go to the go to the reviews tab. Those are a bunch of real humans that are real customers. Like, we're honestly not trying to be cagey. It's a really hard question to ask. send a couple of those people messages and just say, hey, what's your first year been like, or what's your first year and a half been like? Like what's your payback period been? And you could ask those people directly, right? Like we're not trying to hide or hide anything, but it's a very complicated question. It comes down to a whole bunch of different factors, and ultimately the most important, which is, are you going to do the work? And the premise is flawed, that like somehow you sign up and your first year is going to be absolutely fantastic. Like there's some people that struggle till year 3 probably to earn their initial investment back. There's some people that earn it back in the first sale that we have them run on the first marketing effort. And I think if you went through that reviews tab, that's what people would tell you. And it's like each one's got their own story. I mean, it's literally not us being opaque in the slightest. Like it's the nature of this business.
Okay. No, one other question. The marketing that you drive us towards.
Yes, that we teach you to do. Yes.
A much bigger expense now, or is there no expense to that?
So the expense doesn't come until you start having success. And the way that it works, the way that I explain it is, until you start spending money, with one disclaimer on that I'll get into in a second. Until you start spending money, you have to be able to do what I call 100 push-ups in one sitting, right? Like if you think about trying to do 100 push-ups in one sitting, that's really, really hard to do. It's going to take some training for you to get there. What are the 100 push-ups? They're the marketing muscles that you need to actually be able to spend money on your marketing. And no one will tell you this, but you have to be capturing emails. You have to be emailing those emails on a regular basis. You need to be posting on the socials on a regular basis. You need to understand the mechanics and run your own live art show. Then you need to understand a sale and everything that goes on with the sale. How do you tease a sale? How do you start a sale? How do you think about the percentages? What do you do during a sale? How do you extend the sale after the fact and get the most of that entire effort? Until you've built up those muscles, you can't spend a dime on anything because you will just be lighting the money on fire. Like everyone thinks they can just go onto Facebook and like boost a post. Like, ooh, I'm going to boost a post. You don't get a whole lot of people driving Lamborghinis or brand new Mercedes in their driveway that tells you they've been boosting posts, though, do you? Because it doesn't work unless you have the requisite marketing muscles, which very, very few artists, 1 out of 100 does that we ever talk to. You're not ready to spend even a dime on your marketing. I mean, not even a dime. That's number one. Number two, one of the techniques that we do advocate, that we do have you do early on, is we have some like creative sort of hacky things that we do around giveaways, print giveaways, such that you build an email list because people want to opt into it. We teach you that as you go along. But other than that, most people do not spend any amount of money on their marketing until, one, they have these marketing muscles, and two, they've sold $2,000 directly from their website. And in many cases, it's more.
Okay. Well, one final question, because going back to the last person's question.
Yeah, 100%.
With the $1,000, you don't actually build the site. If we sent you all our pictures, we have to build the site.
Yes.
For that.
Yes. You guys build the website.
How much do you charge if we give you all the pictures?
Reed, do you know what those are?
Yeah. So if you want art storefronts to just build everything for you, white glove, it's $1,000 on top of
another $1,000 to
whatever plan you decide on. Yeah.
That's what I thought. All right.
Yeah.
You don't need it though. And the reason I would say that is because, most photographers have much higher technical acumen than most, just because you're.
Yeah, I'm just clarifying the question.
Yeah. But good question. Did that make sense though? Do you feel like that was a pretty fair answer to your question?
That's fine. Yep.
Yeah, it's a super legit hard question, but if you definitely go inquire, and then you like, again, I want to be transparent as possible. Don't take my word for it. Go talk to some customers, right? It's like, it's one of the rad things about Facebook reviews, that you can contact these people. It's sort of like having Amazon reviews, where you can instantaneously contact the person and be like, hey, why'd you hang a 2-star on this thing, right? Like, you can ask, you can inquire directly. So
what is your Facebook address?
All you have to do is just type art storefronts in the search, and you'll find it in 2 seconds.
Okay, art storefronts. Okay, very good. Thanks.
Thank you, Ed. Okay, Kimberly, I didn't forget about you. I sort of forgot about you, but then I remembered. Where is Kimberly? Is she still on here? Yeah, gotcha. Go ahead, Kimberly. You'll need to unmute.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. This is great. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
This presentation. So I don't know if this is appropriate, but I have a question. I'm just wondering how you guys got started into this line of work. I know like your marketing background and everything and the business side of it, but then
yeah, it's a great question. Tell you in 2 seconds. So the founder of our company started a company called Breathing Color, and it's a fine art and canvas paper manufacturer, huge one, has a bunch of different lines, and so he's a lifelong guy in the industry, and he saw sort of the problem early on of the way that these things worked and went, like how art and photography, and specifically how printing was sold online. So he started the business as software for the print studios that do art reproduction. And, it's the same suite of tools because you're selling art at the end of the day, right? And then a couple years into the company, it pivoted completely just to helping artists and photographers. And so that's what it's been.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
And then I have, I guess, two other questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Also, I'm not sure if this is the right. Everyone's asking a lot of like business.
No, you're all good. That's what these things are for. Please ask away.
So I guess when you made the comment that most people have been doing this for all their life and everything, and we are not the people that go through midlife crises and decide to do a change of career. I'm the person that went through the midlife crisis and decided to change their career.
Wait, from something else to art or the other way around?
To art.
Yeah.
So I came from like a science background, and now I'm returning to kind of art from when I was young. And so I'm doing photography first. And the past couple of years I've been doing a lot of skills building, and then I think I'm gonna try and sell my art. And so one of the things, I know that you said you just signed on with a company that does the merch type of stuff. So I would definitely be interested in that. And I was wondering if more about that company, if there's anything about like what they stand for in terms of like sustainable practices, or if they have any kind of like.
Yeah, we could. I don't know what the answer to that is. I know we've been asked that question a couple of times, especially by customers. And I think you'll probably be happy or displeased depending on where your stance is on an item by item basis. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not what you need to worry about right out of the gates, because in order to worry about the quality of the merch first, you got to get the customers in the door, right? Which is a bigger problem you got to work on solving. Yeah. And in terms of, by the way, in terms of the midlife crisis, like what you said doesn't apply. The normal job to an artist, yes, see that all the time, right? But the I am an artist and I no longer want to be an artist, I don't see that all that often. Like no one ever says that, right? Like you might be like, okay, this is just going to be a hobby for now, but you don't ever stop being an artist. It just doesn't work that way. So yeah.
And then my last question was about I know I'm on Facebook and Instagram a lot. I'm 44. So I'm kind of in that range where I've started to talk a lot to people that are from their 20s, 30s. And I know a lot of them do not do Facebook. They are on Instagram, but there's like other social media things that they're doing that I know nothing about. And I was just wondering if you guys have like feelers out for those kinds of
We do. We have a bunch of customers that are on TikTok and that are doing pretty well on TikTok. What you find though is that with art sales, especially higher ticket art sales, it's usually older folks that are spending that money. The younger ones don't have as much money. So it does come down to a situation where it's usually the higher ROI is to continue marketing on Facebook, for Instagram for now, but we're constantly trying all the new latest and greatest, this, that, and everything. And, if anything does start working, our customers will tell us that are on the fringes, or we'll figure it out ourselves, and we'll come up with the playbooks to go with it. I mean, it just comes all down to attention. The whole ball game is just about attention. We go where the attention is, and if a new source that appears tomorrow, I will be happy to jettison the old ones and go right into the new ones. And that's going to be the game of marketing. It always has been and always will be.
Okay, that's great. I think that's it.
Yeah.
And then the discount that you were talking about with that Reed was talking about, is that to sign on today?
No, that's not today. So that's just they're running that special. I actually don't know when it ends, but I don't know if you talked to somebody.
No, I think it ends. Doesn't it end at the end of the month?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, we don't do the sign up today or the discount. We don't play that game. I think it's a special till the end of the month. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like we run specials, of course, that are time sensitive, but we don't get you on the phone and try to get you to sign up for a special on that call. Like not at all. The first call you have with us is super informal, right? It's just a chat, like hearing what you're doing, explaining what we do, going over pricing, filling in gray spots. There's a lot of people I talk to like 5-6 times before we actually walk through a demo. And then the demo is more of the sales presentation. So it's about an hour long on Zoom one-on-one, just to go through all of this part by part in order on your screen, go over plans and prices in detail, like on a sheet. And at that point, assuming it's a great fit, get you set up on whatever plan makes the most sense.
Okay, thanks very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Really. Okay, I think that covers everything. Is there anything I'm missing? Any other last questions? Reed, great job.
Appreciate it. William was asking, the $1,000 is not annual, so the one-time activation,
no, absolutely not.
Paid once, and then the augmented reality is not on the entry plan; it's on the top plan. So, if you're starting on the entry plan, your mindset is to dive into 100% of the marketing, which you have access to on that plan, and then upgrade to add features as the traffic grows. So you just upgrade to that plan later. All right.
Well, good job. Thanks everybody for coming, for hanging out. Really appreciate it. Yeah, look forward to see you again soon.